Good evening. This meeting of the Manheim Township School Board is now called to order. Welcome to everyone here in person and those joining us online. In addition to the live stream, both audio and video are being recorded. Nurture and Challenge for Success is our district's mission. It serves as a reminder of our intent to enable every Manheim Township student to learn, grow, and thrive. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My only announcement this evening is again, encouragement for folks to participate here at board meetings and online. We have the ability to post our meetings online, so if folks can't attend in real time, they can watch them afterwards. I want to offer just a reflection in this board reorganization meeting on the last year, if you'll allow. As we gather tonight, I want to take a moment to reflect on the past year, a year marked by significant transition, challenge, and ultimately renewal for our district. Over the last 12 months, we said goodbye to 2 long-serving board members, including a board president and vice president, as well as a superintendent who led our district for more than 8 years. We're deeply grateful for their dedication, commitment, and steady service throughout their tenure. Each contributed meaningfully to the growth and stability of Manheim Township School District, and we thank them for the countless hours they invested in our students, staff, and community. This year also required us to confront an incredibly difficult chapter involving student safety. It demanded honesty, accountability, and deep reflection. While it was painful, it also reminded us of our shared responsibility to create and maintain environments where every student is safe, supported, and able to thrive. Our work on that front continues. And yet, even through challenge, our district has moved forward with purpose. One of the most important steps we took as a board was the successful hiring of our new superintendent. In a very short time, she has hit the ground running and demonstrated a clear passion for student-centered innovation, for data-driven decision-making, and for engaging all voices, students, staff, families, and community members alike. Her early leadership has brought energy and clarity to our path ahead, and we are excited for what this next chapter will bring. As we turn toward the work of tonight's meeting, I want to thank everyone, our administrators, teachers, staff, families, and community for your partnership and perseverance. This past year has shown us that even in times of transition and challenge, our district remains strong because of the people who care deeply about our students and their success. Tonight, we also welcome and congratulate our 4 newly elected board members. Each of them is uniquely well-suited for board leadership, bringing valuable experience, perspective, and commitment to our district. I want to be clear, they are not pledges, not apprentices, and not plebes. From the moment they are sworn in, they are full-fledged board members, equal partners in the important work ahead. They will strengthen and enrich the collaborative team of 10 we are committed to being. Their leadership capabilities are strong, and they will play an integral role in our ongoing board development as we build cohesive strategy that reflects the voices, talents, and strengths of all. Can we give them a round of applause? All right, moving on. We're at number 2, which is to say that it's roll call vote. Unless otherwise stated, each vote taken at this meeting will be considered a roll call vote, and the secretary will record any negative votes or abstentions. 3A, school board reorganization. So now I'll entertain a motion for temporary president for the purpose of organization. So I'm looking for a motion for a temporary president.
I would move that we select Mr. Baldassar.
Mrs. Hentz has the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Gunter. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Temporary president will now take the board chair.
So would each member stand as we call your name and stay in place for the oath of office? So the Lancaster County Board of Elections here. The Lancaster County Board of Elections hereby certifies that after tabulating the votes cast in the municipal election held on the 4th day of November 2025, Ms. Cindy Lamb, Dr. Jessica McCardle, Mr. Mike McKenna, and Ms. Shannon Zimmerman were duly elected to the office of School Director for the Manheim Township School District for a 4-year term. Kelly Gillis will read the oath of office to each new board member and have them sign the oath papers.
Okay, we'll start with Cindy. I, Cindy Lamb, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. The duties of my office with fidelity. Sorry about that, I'll go a little slow in the last part.
Yeah, if you can come over there.
And Jessica? Okay. I, Jessica McCardle, do solemnly swear that I will support and obey and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Okay, and Mike? I, Mike McKenna, do solemnly swear that I will support and obey and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Okay, and last but not least, I, Shannon Zimmerman, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Thanks, guys.
All right, so now we will have the announcement of the 2025-2026 membership list. Mr. Mark Bold is our holdover. Mr. Patrick Grenter, holdover. Mrs. Joanne Hens, holdover. Ms. Cindy Lamb, elected. Dr. Jessica McCardle, elected. Mr. Mike McKenna, elected. Ms. Sarah Woodbury, holdover. Ms. Shannon Zimmerman, elected. So now I am looking for a motion to nominate the president. Ms. Woodbury.
I want to take a moment to recognize the exceptional leadership demonstrated by our Vice President this past year. This has been a year of significant transition and demanding work for our board. Through every challenge, he has shown steady judgment, a commitment to doing what is right for students, and an unwavering dedication to the responsibilities placed on us as elected leaders. In a year when the board presidency required an especially heavy lift, he was a steady partner, offering thoughtful guidance, sharing the load, and ensuring that we approached our work with care, professionalism, and integrity. What makes his leadership stand out is the depth of his experience in inclusive and intentional leadership. He brings an approach that values every voice, seeks to build consensus, and ensures that decisions are grounded in the needs and aspirations of all students. As we look ahead to the coming year, one where we will continue driving innovation, strengthening our governance practices, and aligning our work closely with our superintendent's vision for excellence, this kind of leadership will be essential. It is for all these reasons that I am deeply honored to nominate him to serve as the next president of the Manheim Township School Board. I am confident that his integrity, his collaborative spirit, and his dedication to student-centered decision-making will serve our entire community well. And with that, I nominate Mr. Patrick Fisher for president.
I need a second. Second. We have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Granter. And I would just like to say thank you to Ms. Sarah Woodbury for her dedicated service as president over the past year. And now I'm going to show Mr. Granter to his seat.
Thank you, Mr. Balthazar. Give me just a moment as I get settled here. Appreciate that.
Mr. Granter, just one point of order. I want to just make sure, I did not see anyone signaling for other nominations, but we didn't ask them, just so we're parliamentarily correct. Were there any other nominations? All right. Now we're parliamentarily correct.
Thank you, Ms. Woodbury. And before we move on, I just want to make a few remarks, if that's acceptable to my colleagues. And I'll start by saying thank you. Thank you to my colleagues for this honor, and thank you also to Ms. Woodbury. I'm trying to process all of this in the incredibly kind and generous words that you just shared. And all I can do is echo them. This has been a trying year. A year full of opportunities, a year full of challenges, and certainly I think a turning point in the history of the school district, marked by the hiring of Dr. Pete Hefty as our school's next year superintendent. Sarah, you led us through many long hours with an incredible amount of dedication to this community, to these schools, to our students, to our teachers, to our staff, that quite frankly, I don't know anyone else could have been capable of. Quite frankly, you did a job that no one else would have done, could have done, or would have done nearly as well as you. And I think this district owes you a debt to that. So thank you for that steady leadership and vision. And I look forward to continuing to work with you and everyone else moving forward. I also want to thank my family. Board service often requires long hours, nights, weekends, and we all have full-time jobs on top of this. I quite frankly could not do this without the unwavering support of my family. And to my colleagues here, I'll say, I look forward to our continued partnership in setting out a path that best supports our dedicated educators, staff, administrative team, students, and families. I particularly want to acknowledge our staff who just recently put in a huge amount of work and time to make parent-teacher conferences a success. I know that is a challenge with significant effort and preparation, so thank you for our teachers who put in long hours to get that done. The next year ahead is a key one. The school board will take critical steps for the future of this district, including moving forward on our campus athletic facilities, making key decisions on the future of Mid-Shire Elementary, and further supporting our superintendent and staff through Dr. Pate Hefty's first year here at Township. We will approach this work with a firm commitment to transparency and accountability. Our district's mission is to nurture and challenge for success. We repeat it and start every meeting with that mantra. And this is how I see this board working best, supporting our staff, students and families, in their work while working together to raise the bar of our expectations and our achievements. However, this is not a one-way street. This board should also welcome that same challenge to us. So please, staff members, families, community members, students, teachers, write to us, seek us out, share your thoughts. I think constantly during these long hours of board service about whom myself and we as a board are accountable to in this work. And it's quite simple to me. Our students, our educators, our staff, and the community. So please, if you have a thought, share it. If you have a question, ask it. An effective culture for learning and educating cannot be assumed. It cannot be created and left alone. Rather, this is a process. Our culture must be nurtured, it must be challenged, it must be reinforced. And I'm asking to you, my colleagues, support in making all that a reality for next year. Thank you. And so with that, I'm happy now to move forward to accept any motions for the election of a vice president for a one-year term. I am looking for a motion to nominate the vice president. Can I get a motion? Ms. Woodbury.
I'd like to make a few remarks and make a motion. I'm pleased to place into nomination one of our newly elected board members, Shannon Zimmerman, for the role of Vice President of the Manhattan Township School Board. Although new to this board, Shannon brings a unique and exceptional set of skills that make her especially well suited to serve as a board officer. She comes to us with several years of professional experience in a cabinet level position in a neighboring school district. Experience that has given her a deep understanding of district operations, executive leadership, and the collaborative work required to move the school system forward. Shannon's background in communications, consensus building, and strategic leadership has prepared her to thrive in the complex and fast-paced environment of public education governance. She has demonstrated an ability to listen deeply, think clearly, and bring people together around shared goals, qualities that are indispensable for a board officer and essential for sustaining a healthy, effective governance team. She is also uniquely qualified to support and partner with our new superintendent as she enters her first full year leading a district in Pennsylvania. Shannon's insight into district level leadership, paired with her commitment to strong communication and transparent decision-making, positions her to be an invaluable ally as we work collectively to advance student-centered innovation and excellence throughout our schools. For these reasons, I'm honored to nominate Shannon Zimmerman to serve as our Vice President. I'm confident that her expertise, professionalism, and steady leadership will serve this board and our entire community exceptionally well. And with that, I nominate Shannon Zimmerman for Vice President.
Thank you, Ms. Woodbury. Now I am looking for a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Lamb. We have a second. Is there any discussion?
We should ask her any other nominations? Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Yep. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please say nay. Okay, the ayes have it. Ms. Zimmerman, congratulations.
you. I'll just make a few comments. I'm honored to accept the nomination for Vice President, and I want to thank my colleagues around this table for your confidence and your trust. I also want to express my appreciation to our outgoing leadership team. The board made meaningful progress this year, as Mr. Grunter said, including new levels of transparency. I'll note the Facilities Committee of the Whole as one example. And the guidance created a strong foundation for the work that we have ahead, and I want to mention that I'm committed to building on that momentum. So in her first 100 days in Manheim Township School District, Dr. Kate Hefty shared that her guiding principle is all means all. And I also heard this at the board meeting last time, that our district is strengthened by diversity of thought, opinion, and lived experience. We as a board share this common purpose for our staff, our students, our families, and our shared community. And all means all will guide our continued commitment to transparency, accountability, and creating belonging. Achieving excellence requires a strong strategy, clear processes, and a willingness to innovate. And I think that my former experience as a public school district administrator, along with my current service to a public statewide board, has uniquely positioned me for this role. And I'm committed to working alongside Mr. Grunter as president, Dr. Kate Hefty as superintendent, to empower every board member around this table so that we can do our best work together. So again, thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to what we will accomplish as a team.
Thank you, Ms. Zimmerman. Okay, we are moving on now to item 5 on our agenda, titled Board Business. First up is item A, a motion that all meetings be conducted in accordance with school board policy. So this refers to board policy 000 to 2011. Now I'm looking for a motion to confirm that all school board meetings will be conducted according to school board policy. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Dr. McCardle, can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Baldazar, thank you. Is there any discussion on this matter? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, the motion carries. We're moving on to item B, 5B, a motion to approve that school board meeting schedule, approve the school board meeting schedule for all meetings to be held at 6 p.m. each month according to the attached schedule. Now I'm looking for a motion to approve the attached schedule as noted. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Woodbury. A second.
Second.
Ms. Zimmerman, I'll give you the second there. All right, is there any discussion about our calendar? Okay. Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion carries. All right, now we are on to item 6, which is Manheim Township community comments. The board values input from all community, district employees, residents, taxpayers, district employees, and students. We're all welcome and encouraged to participate. The board won't engage in discussion, but will provide follow-up if needed. If you'd like to speak, please fill out a commenter's card for the board secretary to collect. Limit your remarks to 5 minutes and share your full name before you begin. Who would like to make comments this evening? Welcome, please share your full name.
My name is Mark Diener. I graduated here in 1989, and I had 5 daughters through this school as well. I'd like to congratulate the new members on the board. You guys fought a hard job and did a good job. I want to thank the administration as well for weeding out the book Allegedly by Tiffany Jackson. It was in the middle school library. There were 2 copies, but it is no longer available there. And that book was inappropriate for middle schoolers, according to a Google search in AI mode. And I recently used Grok as well, just to make sure it wasn't this Google mishap. Grok concurred that book is no good for 7th grade. I also want to thank the administration that the book This One Summer by Jillian Tamaki was also weeded out. It was available about a week ago, and it's not available any longer. and I'm assuming it was because of all the sexual references. The book was better suited for high school or older readers. I want to thank the Manheim Township Administration for weeding out the book Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany Jackson. That book was available about a week ago. It is not available any longer in the high school or the middle school, and I'm assuming because of its many references to sexual assault, sexual violence, sexual harassment. That book was not appropriate for 7th graders, and a Google search in AI mode mentioned that it was not, and so did Grok. The book I want to bring to your attention tonight is the book The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Is Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood appropriate for 10th graders? I did a Google search in AI mode. No, The Handmaid's Tale is not appropriate for all 10th graders due to its mature and graphic content, including sexual violence and torture. The one scene that I want to bring to your attention tonight, I'm just looking around, make sure there's no minors in the room. If there's any minors watching on YouTube, the parents that are with those minors might want to take them out of the room.
Mr. Diener, I'll concede that that book is in our library. And I'll also say that those books are in our library based on the judgment and the process from trained professionals.
You guys stopping my time.
They're tailored on a multi-point system of evaluation across internal staff and external association review, taking into account appropriate age ranges and subject matters. All of this has been explained to you multiple times. What has been also explained to you multiple times is the process by which books have been challenged. For some reason, you're not doing that. What you choose to do instead, over these past few meetings, is to read sections in an attempt to distort or mislead, with little to no care for those who may be listening or viewing at home, regardless of what the appropriate age range of those books are. That is the opposite of what our professionals do here at this district. And it really is wildly out of step for someone who proclaims to care about such things. It leads me to wonder for what reason you are doing this, other than conducting yourself in a manner that celebrates your own self-aggrandizement. So you can continue as you see fit, but this is, I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to achieve.
I'm trying to achieve a clean library for children.
This is not the process under which books should be challenged. If you wish to challenge a book, there is a process that's been explained to you. You've attempted it before. You're not doing so now.
So this book in the high school library, The Handmaid's Tale, there's a sex scene where in one scene there's adultery, fornication, rape, torture, climax, orgasm, 2 women at one fantasy. Page 93, above me, towards the head of the bed, Serena Joy is arranged, outspread. Her legs are apart. I lie between them, my head on her stomach, her pubic bone under the base of my skull, her thighs on either side of me. My arms are raised. She holds my hands, each of mine and each of hers. This is supposed to signify that we are one flesh, one being. What it really means is that she is in control of the process and thus of the product, if any. The rings of her left hand cut into my fingers. My red skirt is hitched up to my waist, though no higher. Below is the commander, and he is F-U-C-K-I-N-G. I didn't say the word. It's not appropriate for this place. What he is F-U-C-K-I-N-G is the lower part of my body. I do not say making love because this is not what he's doing. Copulating 2 would be inaccurate because it would imply 2 people and only one is involved, nor does rape cover it. I wish he would hurry up. Serena Joy grips my hands as if it is she, not I, who's being F-U-C-K-E-D, as if she finds it either pleasurable or painful, and the commander F-U-C-Ks me with a regular 2-4 marching stroke, on and on like a tap dripping. He is preoccupied, like a man humming to himself in the shower without knowing he's humming, like a man who has other things on his mind. It's as if he's somewhere else waiting for himself to come, drumming his fingers on the table while he waits. There's an impatience in his rhythm now. But isn't this everyone's wet dream, two women at once? Kissing is forbidden between us. This makes it bearable. One detaches oneself. One describes. He comes at last with
Thank you, Mr. Diener. Your time is up. Are there others who would like to comment this evening? Welcome, please share your full name.
My name is Soraya Hentz. I am a person in the district, a parent, and other such things. I did want to let the board know that in our school district, in our policy, section 900 community, titled Public Comment in Board Meetings, it speaks about people speaking at public comments, and it does say an individual's public comment may be interrupted or terminated only under limited circumstances, such as when the individual's commentary is in clear violation of law or board policy, including but not limited to the following, and it lists several. Some that you may want to consider are speech that traditionally has not been protected under the First Amendment, such as obscenity, defamation, and speech integral to criminal conduct, or another one that says speech that does not concern matters that may come before the board for deliberation or official action. So I just wanted to let you know that there's an opportunity for these public comments to help the board have things that they can discuss to help improve our district, and if there are instances in which people might be taking advantage of a microphone, that there are opportunities for the board to terminate those opportunities. Just wanted to let you know. Thanks for all you're doing. You're doing a great job. Congrats to the new board.
Thank you, Ms. Hintz. Does anyone else like to make public comment? Would anyone who has spoken like to make additional remarks?
Me again, Mark Diener, class of '89. I was finishing up that scene. One detaches oneself, one describes, he comes at last with a stifled groan as of relief. Serena Joy, who has been holding her
someone you pretend or claim to care about the voice or what our students are seeing or reading, your actions are careless. They are continuously careless. And they center yourself rather than folks who are living at home, including families and children. That is the opposite of how our librarians and staff conduct themselves, and I wish you would consider that.
Serena Joy, who has been holding her breath, expels it. The commander, it's the guy who is raping the girl, who has been propping himself on his elbows away from our combined bodies, doesn't permit himself to sink down into us. He rests a moment, withdraws, recedes, rezippers, he nods, then turns and leaves the room. I untangle myself from her body, stand up. The juice of the commander runs down my legs. So, again, the Google search, it was actually in all mode. The question was, is the book The Handmaid's Tale appropriate for 10th graders? No, The Handmaid's Tale is not appropriate for 10th graders due to its mature and graphic content, including sexual violence and torture. I did a Google search in all mode. Is the book Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky appropriate for all 9th graders? No. The Perks of Being a Wallflower is not appropriate for all 9th graders due to its mature content, including sexual abuse and sexual situations. The mature themes are sexual abuse, suicide, and these things may be triggering for some readers. The explicit content, it has details of sexually explicit scenes. Here's one of those scenes. And the boy kept working up the girl's shirt, and as much as she said no, he kept working it. After a few minutes, she stopped protesting, and he pulled her shirt off, and she had a white bra on with lace. I honestly didn't know what to do by this point. Pretty soon, he took off her bra and started to kiss her breasts. And then he put his hand down her pants, and she started moaning. He reached to take off her pants, but she started crying really hard, so he reached for his own. He pulled his pants and underwear down to his knees. Please, Dave, no, but the boy just talked soft to her and how good she looked and things like that. And she grabbed his penis with her hands and started moving it. After a few minutes, the boy pushed the girl's head down and she started to kiss his penis. She was still crying. Finally, she stopped crying because he put his penis in her mouth, and I don't think you can cry in that position. I had to stop watching at that point because I started to feel sick, but it kept going and they kept doing other things and she kept saying no. Page 158. So they've been going out for a long time, and I think they've even had sex before, but this was going to be a special night. They start to make out. The stereo's playing, and they're just about to do it when Parker realizes he forgot the condoms. They're both naked on this putting green. They both want each other. There's no condom. So what do you think happened? They did it doggy style with one of the sandwich bags. I did a Google search in all mode and asked this question. Is Girl in Translation by Jean Kwok appropriate for all 7th graders? No. Girl in Translation is not appropriate for all 7th graders due to its mature themes and is generally considered more suitable for high school students. It is not a book that can be confidently given to all 7th graders without potential issues regarding the content. It is not typically a 7th grade selection and should be approached with caution for that age group. Page 283. He unzipped my jacket and pushed it off my shoulders. It fell on the floor. His lips were all I could look at, and I abruptly disengaged myself and started walking toward the kitchen. I better find another towel, I said, knowing we didn't have any towels. But he caught me by my sleeve, and his hands were pulling me back. I closed my eyes. I felt his arms go around me, and before I knew it, his hands were under my shirt, stroking and tantalizing. He kissed me, and I stopped breathing. He was filled with need. He seemed unable to control himself. He had already had my shirt off. We fell back on the pile of stuffed animal blankets. He pinned me to the mattress. His weight was delicious. And now he was moving his lips against mine, agonizing and luscious, the brush of stubble against my temples, the sweep of his hair. I felt I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I was his and he was mine. I could feel the heat of him burning through his wet clothes. He was a man possessed by grief and passion together. But once he started to kiss me again, the taste and smell of him overwhelmed me, and I became frantic to get his
Thank you,
clothes
Mr.
off.
Diener. Your time is up.
Thank you.
That brings us to item 7 in our reorganization meeting, adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Baldazar, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Woodbury, thank you. Our next scheduled board meeting immediately after this is Thursday, December 4th, 2025 at 6 p.m. here in the district office. This is a special meeting to appoint a new board member with the Facilities Committee of the Whole meeting occurring the same evening at 6:30. As was mentioned at the opening of the meeting, interviews of those seeking appointment to the board will begin this evening at 7 p.m. Thank you to all Manheim Township staff, administrators, volunteers for your dedication to our students and community. All in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thanks to all. We are going to have the most brief adjournment. looks like we are ready to start our work session, so call to order. And good evening. This meeting of the Manheim Township School Board is now called to order. Welcome to everyone here in person and those joining us online. In addition to the live stream, both audio and video are now being recorded. Nurture and challenge for success is our district's mission. It serves as a reminder of our intent to enable every Manheim Township student to learn, grow, and thrive. And so we will start first with a few announcements. This evening, we join school districts across the country in recognizing National Special Education Day, a day that highlights our ongoing commitment to providing every student with the support, encouragement, and opportunities they need to succeed. December 2nd marks the anniversary of the federal legislation now known as the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, which opened the door to equitable public education for students with disabilities. Nearly 5 decades later, this promise continues to guide the work that we do here at Manheim Township School District. We are grateful for the dedication of our special education staff, our teachers, paraeducators, school psychologists, speech and language specialists, related service providers, and administrators. Their work is grounded in collaboration, compassion, and a belief in the potential of every learner. We also recognize our families, whose partnership is essential in supporting each child's educational journey. Most importantly, we celebrate our students. Their perseverance, creativity, and individuality remind us of why inclusive practices matter and why we remain committed to removing barriers, expanding access, and ensuring meaningful learning experiences for all. Tonight, Manheim Township School District reaffirms its commitment to creating welcoming and inclusive school communities, providing high-quality instruction and supports that meet diverse learning needs, ensuring access to rigorous academic opportunities, partnering with families through open communication and shared decision-making, and championing practices that uplift every learner. Thank you to everyone in our Manheim Township School District community who supports this important work. Together, we will continue building a district where every student belongs, grows, and thrives. Happy National Special Education Day. And so now we will move back into item 2, Manheim Township community comments. The board values input from the community, district employees, residents, taxpayers, and students of the Manheim Township School District. Individuals wishing to make public comments are invited to approach the microphone. To speak, please complete a commenter's card and submit it to the board secretary. As outlined in policy 903, please state your name and limit your comment to 5 minutes. You may speak once on a specific topic unless all others wishing to speak on that topic have been heard. At that point, you may be given an additional 5 minutes to speak. The board will not engage in discussion at this time. If follow-up is needed, a district employee or board member will contact you. Residents and employees may also submit questions in writing to the board secretary at boardsecretary@mtwp.net, and then our board secretary will make sure that we all receive that message. So does anyone here want to give public comment? Okay, seeing none. We are going to move on forward, if everyone's sure. We're going to move forward into item 3, which is approval of our agenda or agenda modification. So is there a motion to either approve or modify tonight's agenda?
Motion to approve.
Ms. Hens with the motion. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Woodbury. Any discussion about our agenda? Seeing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries. Now we are on to item 4, which is action for our voting meeting on December 11th, 2025. First up is a motion for us to recommend to approve the resolution certifying the school district will not raise the 2025-2026 tax rate by more than the Act 1 index 3.5%. Mrs. Robbins, welcome.
Thank you very much. The resolution before the board tonight is a procedural commitment confirming that the district will not exceed the Act 1 index for next year's budget. The equity index is a state-determined cap on the property tax increases established by Pennsylvania's Taxpayer Relief Act. The index is calculated for each district annually, and it's based on primarily inflationary factors such as the percentage increase in the Pennsylvania statewide average weekly wage and also the U.S. Employment Cost Index. Historically, districts could seek referendum exceptions above this limit for increases in special education and pension costs. However, beginning with the current 25-26 budget, districts that receive adequacy money are not eligible to seek any ACMON exceptions. As a reminder, the adequacy funds that the district is receiving annually represents the state's effort to address the recent court ruling on unconstitutional school funding by bridging the adequacy gap. An interesting note is that every district in the state is currently receiving at least $50,000 in adequacy money, so there's no districts in the entire state that are eligible for exceptions, but we still have to take this procedural step still. Therefore, by approving the resolution, the board is formally complying with the current state law and committing not to exceed the maximum allowable tax increase of 3.5% for the 26-27 budget. It is very important to note that approval of this resolution does not mean that the district will increase taxes to the 3.5% amount. That decision will be made by the board in June. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Robbins. That was very helpful. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, that was incredibly helpful to the point where you answered all of our questions. Thank you, Mrs. Robbins. We're going to be moving on then to item B, which is board committee assignments for board members. And so attached to everyone's agenda on the board, you will find a list of board committee assignments. You can see there, legislative liaison, PSD delegate assembly are among our board assignments, and there's also committee assignments there as well. Are there any questions, knowing that we will vote on these assignments at our next meeting, December 11th? Yes, Dr. Budet.
I just wanted to mention to the board that many boards that you're seeing up here are actually voting tonight or this week on their schedules as well. So we use the rollover schedules that are currently in place to the best of our ability. We hope that there's not too many significant changes, but if there are and they impact your schedules, we can certainly come back to those assignments.
Thank you, Dr. Budet. I'll say also what the legislative liaison role has looked like has evolved some over time. I think it kind of started with an idea a little bit from you, Mrs. Hentz, several years ago.
It had been
So yeah, what Mrs. If anyone your mic I don't think was on, but it had that role had gone away from the board, and I think we were looking to resurrect it. And so I'd served that role and served mostly in terms of providing briefings to the board about major pieces of legislation or updates from Harrisburg, with some connection with our representative officials from that place. So that is not one that has been as present of late, but I wouldn't even mind considering holding on to that role moving forward if no one else would like that. Are there any other thoughts or questions? Mr. Baldessar.
Just the questions, I think you said we'll vote on this next week, but the Lancaster County Academy Board reorgs on Wednesday of this week.
So that's an interesting procedural question, is if, I think we have, there's been some interest expressed from different members about what these different committee assignments are going to look like. I wonder from that board what they need in order to have an action-taking member from this board represent. I'm not sure if that's...
Well, they're going to do exactly the same thing we just did prior to this meeting. So they're going to be electing a president and a vice president and all those things. So, well, there's a couple of things. I'm currently that representative, but if I did not continue that, I could go to that reorg meeting, but then I would, like a week as soon as that's over. The cleanest thing in the world would be whoever's going to be that going forward will go to that meeting on Wednesday, but if that can't happen, then I don't know where that that leaves the group there. Because technically, I would assume that since we haven't done anything, I'm technically, because I wasn't the last, I'm not actually now, so we're technically sitting with no rep to that board.
So I guess the procedural question that we're gonna need Lancaster County Academy to answer probably is whether they would accept a provisional member from this school board, who's not you, understanding our process for next week.
I would have the same thing at the IU board. Maybe they'll meet before.
Okay. I'm not sure what we can do to control for that.
Have we always elected these or have we appointed them?
Yeah, I think they've been appointed, and I think in Pat, my recollection is that the assignment occurred, it wasn't a vote, we just kind of agreed to it, but.
Your recollection is as good as mine. I'm looking at Ms. Marshall and Ms. Davidson. Mrs. Marshall and Mrs. Davidson, see if they have guidance for this board.
So in the past, these positions have always been approved this evening at our reorg, but because you have an empty seat, which we had done last year when Ms. Lamb was also elected as well, appointed onto the board, we waited to do the nominations for these different liaison groups so that everyone had a fair share as to what they wanted, because having a new board member might not give the opportunity for them to be a part of that group. So that's why it was kicked back to an additional week. So in the interim, what a lot of these boards will do is they'll allow a rollover until you elect or until you appoint your committees. So that would be a fine to do that, to allow Mrs. Hens and Mr. Boldazar to roll over until you approve your committee assignments.
That's all well and good, but what if I don't want to roll over and let Ron assign it?
Then we just don't have any option that. Then we would just be absent for that meeting. If it's occurring Wednesday.
So, well, I guess the option is either we have that absence, or do we think we're in a position to appoint someone if this doesn't in fact require a vote? Ms. Woodbury.
My recollection is that in the past ones I can remember, it doesn't require us to vote. They are appointments, so I think you have latitude to be able to appoint someone who in draft is agreed to be our representative.
So there have been some discussions before this evening of trying to ascertain interests in different positions and committee assignments. And so I think I have a general idea of what this could look like. Didn't want to get too far ahead of it before we had a voting meeting, but if I'm incorrect on process, I guess I'm looking for sense here of whether we can move forward this evening. And I'm happy to record out my understanding of provisional placeholders that we had, there's been some discussion about, but I also want to be sensitive to the fact that this isn't exactly the process that everyone anticipated before this evening. So I'm happy to move forward in that respect and read these out, and then we can have some discussion at that moment. Does that seem palatable to folks? Okay. So I already kind of self-nominated myself for legislative liaison. I'm happy to keep that. I know Ms. Woodbury did express interest in the PSBA Delegate Assembly, and then also the PSBA, the Pennsylvania School Board Association, which is there at the bottom. That's correct, Ms. Woodbury. Mrs. Hens, we were counting on your continued leadership at the IU. Okay, thank you. Mr. Boldazar, you were looking to move over to MTEF.
Yes.
We're going to have a pretty heavy presence at MTEF, but I think that...
Or I'm just open, I think the Lancaster County Academy, just being time and things, it's just a more conflicting kind of assignment for me, so it doesn't have to be that, but I just think the Academy is just one that kind of going forward, I think would be better served by someone other than me.
And to that end, I was thinking about you, Dr. McCardle, for Lancaster County Academy. So you can work with Mr. Baldazar to make that transition an effective one.
That sounds good.
Thank you so much for stepping up. Really appreciate that. So Mr. Baldazar, I think one board assignment that had not been allocated previously or I'd understood to be, I was thinking would be for our newly appointed board member was the Envisions Board, which I know does great work, and we have someone from that board here in the room this evening. So that is something I'm not going to press you right now, but you can consider that while I continue on down the list. Ms. Lamb, I know you had expressed some interest in being our liaison with the Board of Commissioners. Is that correct?
Correct. I was going to ask because I don't see it up there, but I would like to continue to be the liaison for Board of Commissioners. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I see no reason for us not to continue with that. Mr. McKenna, there's the Lancaster County CTC. I was excited about you taking on that role. Does that seem like something that you could take on? Okay. So looking here, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, so Mr. Baldazar, you've had a moment. Are you thinking MTEF or Envisions?
The Envisions would be fine, since we already have a heavier presence on NTEF.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we did it. Any other thoughts or questions before we move on to our next matter, which should be even a little simpler, which is our partner school assignments. Okay, seeing none, we're going to move right ahead then. And similarly attached, and thank you for posting that up there, attached to our board docs agenda, you will find a list of board partner school assignments. And I'm happy to just run through these as well, but we also should have some room for discussion. Mr. McKenna, I see your hand.
Yes, so if Mark is leaning towards Envisions, then I would also like to be considered for MTF. I currently serve on the grants committee and have for several years, as well as the mini grants committee, so I'm very familiar with their operations. I think I could add a lot of value to that board.
I do support that if we're moving back to the committee assignments discussion. So my only concern would be if our newly appointed member will have the ability to work with CTC. So if we're a little less like fluid or locked in right now, we are a little more fluid. Maybe we can work on confirming that over the next few days, particularly once we have a new member appointed, and we can revisit all of these to make sure that this is working for everyone. But your point is valid, and if you're already going there, I think it does make sense to lift that up. So I'm hearing you, and we'll just have to put a pin in that for this moment. If that's acceptable to you. All right, thank you, Mr. McKenna. Okay, over to our partner schools. Any other thoughts or questions now? And so there have been some discussions here, and if we want to just go this route, we can run through it again. So I will start with the Manheim Township High School. And Dr. McCardle, I was really hoping that you would be our partner over there.
I'd be happy to.
Okay. For Manheim Township Middle School, I thought this day would never come, but I think I'm going to hand off Schaefer Elementary, my dear Schaefer, and serve as the board representative to Manheim Township Middle School. Ms. Woodbury, I understand you wanted to continue with Landis Run.
I would.
Ms. Zimmerman, I should have said this before. Given the duties that we have as president and vice president have traditionally meant that we don't take on committee assignments because you're going to have your hands full no matter what. So, but I am thrilled to hand Schaefer Elementary over to your more than capable hands.
Schaefer Gators.
Schaefer Gators all day. Yeah. Exactly right. Mrs. Hentz, I'd understood that you wanted to continue with Neff. Gosh, Neff. I knew I was going to do that with Neff Elementary.
I am happy to, or if there's someone who has another connection, since I don't have children in the schools, I go where I am needed. But I like my Neff.
If you're going where you need, you're busy all the time, from traveling from place to place. But yes, I appreciate the connections you've made in Neff and enjoy your report outs on that. So unless there's anyone else who would like to jump in there, I appreciate your continued leadership there, Mrs. Hentz. Mr. Baldazar, I understood you to be continuing with Brecht Elementary.
That is fine with me.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lamb? Trower Elementary?
I would love Trower, thank you. I loved working with Bucher Elementary. It's an amazing school, but I think for the past year, I've really spoken up about Trower. My heart's there, so thank you so much. I would love that.
Excited for this next step for Trower. Thank you, Ms. Lamb. Mr. McKenna, Reidenbaugh.
So that next step for you?
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Your home school, love that. And then, so that leaves Bucher Elementary, who we will be excited for our newly appointed board member to be a liaison for that school. And so, also, Dr. Kate Hefty and I spoke a little bit earlier today about what this partner school structure can look like. You know, my first year on the board, every board member was getting report backs every once a month on updates and happenings at their home schools. I in particular found a lot of value in that. It helped me feel connected to many of the different buildings, particularly when we're not all able to visit them as often as we would like. In the past year, I think in trying to promote some efficiency in our meetings, we've kind of scaled that back. And so I think I'm open to thoughts on, and I want to go to Dr. Kate Hefty first, about what it is we as board members can benefit from hearing from report outs from our partner schools, and then also particularly from you, Dr. Kate Hefty, what it could look like for us from the staff perspective to partner with those schools in a way that is beneficial for the buildings, beneficial for this board, and not at all disruptive. So I'm gonna go first to you, Dr. Kate Hefty.
Thank you. So when you look at your partner schools, we wanted to make sure that schools felt like they had equal access and support. So we asked each of the schools to minimally provide us an event that you could attend and you're welcome to attend. But I want you to know that our administration welcomes you in our schools. They welcome you contacting your partner school, scheduling a visit. And then we have discussed options for you to do a report out. I'm glad to send options for maybe an elementary and a secondary school to report each time, or maybe we could benefit based on the topics of the board meetings so that we can keep things in flowing. You could report out on other events at your school. It might be nice in advance if you were able to sign up so you could kind of schedule that with your work schedules. I know how busy everyone here is, so that you could select a time and know that was your presentation. We are willing to, kind of monitor this and make changes as well. So I don't want you to think it's written in stone, but we welcome you in our schools and we want you to know that that's an open invitation for you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kate. I'm excited to see what this can look like. Are there any thoughts or questions? Mrs. Hens.
To be included in this chart when the PTO is meeting, I have found that connecting with the PTO has been very valuable. They have questions for me and I'm able to associate.
I think that's an exceptional idea, and Ms. Zimmerman, the Shaper PTO is meeting tomorrow night. So. Any other thoughts or questions? Mr. Baldessar.
I've found this aspect of board service to be the one that's the most challenging. My kids are out of school. I never went to a PTO meeting in the time when my kids were young. My wife went all the time. So I started to go to a PTO meeting, but I'm really disconnected. There's not this aspect, there's not a mission statement or a purpose. So to go to a PTO meeting when the parents, they're busy worried about something else, they rarely, I don't even know what the school board is. I don't even know what, it really is, my recommendation would be, can we find a way to really make this truly effective use of time on both fronts, right? I feel at times like I'm an intruder on the PTO meetings, even though I know some of the parents, and I'm sure they don't feel that way. And then just if you go to one of those events like the talent show or some of their other events and you're a parent with no kids there, it's extremely difficult to, like, what are you doing here? Oh, that's great, you're a board member, great. But so I want to be supportive, but for me, without a purpose and a structure, it just becomes like challenging.
I appreciate that, Mr. Bolzar. It's easier for me when my kids are at Schaefer in particular. I do remember Mrs. Carroll, who formerly served on this board. I would always see her at Schaefer events when she was the board partner there with her dog. And so that was always kind of like the grounding icebreaker for her, I think. And you know, I would welcome Dr. Pate Hefty's thoughts on this, but I think maybe a first step is connecting with a building's principal and trying to get a sense of how you can plug in, and if the answer doesn't work or isn't something that seems productive, then I'm certainly open to having that conversation in ways that we can look to either you know, right size that or adjust it as needed. But you know, I think I would also welcome, as we can dive into this, particularly with our newer members, that we share our ideas, share things that worked well, things that haven't gone well. But I think, you know, what you speak to in particular is having a task without a purpose is challenging, right? So just making sure that we define what success looks like, what we're trying to contribute and what we're trying to learn, I think is going to be critical. And so maybe that's part of our next step as a board, is understanding really what it is that we're trying to achieve. So I have ideas, but I welcome others, and we can, I think, do that in some of our work, and maybe revisit it next week. Or, yes, next week. So, any other thoughts or questions? Okay. All right. I think that brings us to a finish on item 4 then, and we are then on to item 5 in our agenda, which is new business. Items brought forward under new business will not be acted upon until the next school board meeting to allow school board members to have sufficient information and to allow opportunities for public comment. Do any board members have any new business to bring forward? Okay, we're seeing none. And that brings us once again to item 6, which is Manheim Township community comments, community and district employee comments. The board values input from the community. District employees, residents, taxpayers, and students are all welcome to encourage to participate. The board won't engage in discussion, but will provide follow-up if needed. If you'd like to speak, please fill out a commenter's card for the board secretary to collect. Limit your remarks to 5 minutes and share your full name before you begin. Who would like to make comments this evening? Ms. Hintz, welcome.
Hi, I'm Soraya Hintz. I love microphone. So I just wanted to make the comment based on the discussion that you just had about what a school board member could do at a PTO meeting or at an event at a school. I think what Mr. Baltazar said, one of his comments that people don't know what the school board is exactly right. That attending school events, going to PTO meetings, showing your faces out in the district, being really active, as some of our new members I know have been very active within their school committees, marching band or on PTO or book fair or whatever. They will get to know what the school board is. And then at these meetings, we might have more people in attendance, we might have more people watching, we might have more people engaged. Part of a school board's purpose is community engagement. And like was mentioned before about some of the struggles in this past year, there is some lack of trust in the transparency of the goings on of the school board. So if you can go there and they can see who you are, they can see what you believe, they can see how you're putting in the time, the effort, and the work. Even if you don't have kids in the district, that you're somebody who wants to be there, who wants to see how we're educating our children, how we're entertaining our children, what the building looks like, what it smells like, what the water tastes like, that you're there really putting both feet on the ground to want to be in and around them, which I know you all do, because you're serving as volunteers. Pennsylvania is only one of 2 states that doesn't get paid to be on school board. So you're putting your time in, and that is very valuable, and it's important that people see that more than just 2 Thursdays, even though today's Monday, a month, for them to see you more often than that, I think would be great. So that could be a reason to attend those events. Just go, shake hands, say what your name is, who you are, tell them to come join us here in front of a microphone too. They'll probably love it as much as I. That is my comment.
Thank you, Ms. Hintz. Would anyone else like to make comments? Many of you will have the chance to speak in just a moment too. So if there's no one else, we're going to move to adjourn and then start our final meeting of the evening. So we're on to 7, which is adjournment. Upon adjournment, please note that our interviews for an open board seat will begin quite soon. And that brings us to close. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Okay.
Mrs. Hens, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Lamb, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned for just a moment. We're just 20 minutes behind, so we're doing okay, I guess. We're going to call this last meeting of the evening to order. And good evening and welcome. This meeting of the Manheim Township School Board is now called to order. Welcome to everyone here in person and those joining us online. In addition to the live stream, both audio and video are being recorded here this evening. Nurture and challenge for success is our district's mission. It serves as a reminder of our intent to enable every Manheim Township student to learn, grow, and thrive. Now we are on to item B in our agenda. And so, as was publicized on our website and in local media sources, we'll be facilitating public interviews this evening for candidates who applied for the available position on our school board, which was vacated on November 14th, 2025 by Dr. Terrence Henderson. This is a public meeting dedicated solely to the interviewing process. The board will make no decision this evening on filling the expected vacancy. Thus, there will be no opportunity for public comment during the meeting. The board is planning to fill the vacancy at a special meeting of the board on December 4th, 2025 at 6 p.m. A public comment period will occur prior to that decision. This position will serve from December 11th, 2025 through the first Monday in December 2027. By school code, the vacancy shall be filled until the first Monday of December after the first municipal election, occurring more than 60 days after the vacancy shall occur. Now tonight, the board will ask 2 questions of all candidates. We will ask that they rotate up to the interview table when they're called. Questions were provided to the candidates in advance. The presentation order was selected via random auto generator. We will have a time limit of 2 minutes for each response, and the time will be projected on the screen above. Now, 2 minutes is not super easy. There's also a lot of us, and there's a lot to cover. I'm not going to cut you off. So if you're at 1:55 and the best thought you've ever had comes to your head, finish your thought. I want you to, we want to learn a little bit about you, what you think is important, why you're here. And so I want you to take the space that you can, obviously within reason, and with respect for everyone else here, to finish your thought within that time frame. Also, I will say to my colleagues on the board, you all have folders in front of you to use to evaluate the answers that our candidates provide. Note that there's space for evaluation of the two questions we're going to hear this evening, but then also each of the candidates provided extensive written thoughts to us, which I've already gone over. I'm sure many of you others have as well. I appreciate the time and thoughtfulness that you all put into that. So we are also going to consider those before we make our decision later this week. Are there any questions from anyone on the board about this process? Okay. So once we call you up, I'm going to say your name. There will be 2 at a time to come up to the table. If I mispronounce your name, please correct me. I don't love it when people mispronounce my name. You all deserve to be treated with respect. I'm going to do my best, but if I get it wrong, please do not be shy, and please tell us. Also, I'm going to ask the first question, and then my colleague, Ms. Zimmerman, is going to ask the second question this evening. All right, any other thoughts on the board? Okay. We're moving on to item 2, which is approval of our agenda or agenda modification. Is there a motion to either approve or modify the agenda tonight?
So moved.
Ms. Zimmerman, is there a second?
Second.
Dr. McCardle, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion carries. We are on to item 3, which is our school board candidate interviews. So, as we get started here, will the following 2 candidates please come to the interview table? First is Ms. Soraya Hintz and Dr. Orlyris Negron Perez. Please come to the microphone. Okay, first question is to me. Ms. Hintz, I'll go with you first.
It's Soraya Hintz.
Soraya Hintz. Thank you.
Very well.
Soraya Hintz.
I also have a quick question. Are we allowed to use notes or just?
Absolutely, use whatever you need. We all are all using notes here at the table, so you'll have an option to do so as well. So the first question is, what interests you about serving on the school board?
So what interests me about serving on the school board is, 1, I have 5 children in the district, so I have, the whole time that we've lived here, I've been an active volunteer in every method that was possible. I even went to school administrators and said, what committees do you have that no one wants to serve on? I'll sit there. And then I will put both my hands and both my feet in it, and I think I have. I have recently become a substitute, and I've been able to be in the classrooms that way. So I really can see MTSD from every side and every angle. There are many wonderful people within this district, from paraprofessionals to administrators to educators within our classrooms, volunteers. But there are also a lot of ways that we can improve. And while volunteer work is one way to do that, I think school board is another way to help those improvements move along a little faster and with greater impact. I also have an extensive history personally and professionally in education. I was a high school English teacher, I was a continuing medical education program director, and I did very well in my classrooms and still keep in touch with some of my former students. I have a passion for education. I keep up with research and studies about it. I know what works and what doesn't, and I can give the data behind it. And I think that that's also very important coming to the school board, having a former educator, current substitute, which I know would change in amongst this group of people who really all want the same goals of having our students do well here. So both of those things really drive me in wanting to be a school board director. It seemed like the obvious next step. I've been very invested in the race and in these meetings and in the goings on of the board. And I just think that I could really help enrich this already productive group in moving in the directions that I think we all agree on.
Thank you. Dr. Prince, your turn.
Hi, this is on. So, I admire first of all how the school district works. I come from another country, I'm Puerto Rican. This is not how schools work, and I think this link with the community, with the parents, the teachers is something important that should happen everywhere. I am also a mom of 2 children here. I have a kid in 8th grade, in middle school. I also have a high schooler, Damien. I think I can provide a lot of perspectives and insights coming from another culture, and because I also have a my educational background is in a lot of things at the same time. I have a medical degree. I also am in a teaching academy for graduate students. I am a parent that has been very active in the school. I have been in the DEI committee at Neff Elementary when my kids were part of Neff Elementary. I also was the PTO at Booker and Neff Elementary when my kids were there. And I am very interested in seeing a lot of people from different backgrounds coming to the meetings all the time and give their input. I think the input from different backgrounds just creates new things. It increases innovation and new ideas and new ways of doing things. So I am very excited to be here.
Thank you.
Okay. What skills, experience, and strengths would you bring to the board?
So, as I mentioned, I have a lot of professional and personal experience here in MTSD. I have sat on the North Star Committee. I also have served on several PTOs. I also am the 2-year chair of the SAGE Committee, which was formerly known as SLAC, the Superintendent Lay Advisory Committee. So I kind of am keeping myself abreast of all of the issues that are going on here in the district and in various schools individually as well, all the way down to the classroom level. In addition to that, I think I'm just a very curious person, and I lead with asking questions. I have an incredible empathy, and I'm really able to see where someone is coming from, meet them there, encourage them in the things that they want to do and the strengths that they have, and then also maybe challenge them to grow, and then step in where needed. So I think it starts with listening first, not coming in with any ideas or assumptions about people, but being able to just listen to them, hear them, value them, make them feel seen and understood. I think it always has to begin there, and I have an ability to do that. I've always been that way. I'm an excellent cheerleader for people who I just love to see shine. I just love nothing more than watching people do what they do and do it well. I have cried at many a marching band performance because it's crazy what those kids do out on the field. I'm a hooter and a hollerer in the audiences at many a chorus and band events as well, the musicals, the plays. Here when the board members were elected tonight, that little hoot was me, because it's just so great to see somebody achieve. And if that means I stand back and they go forward, then by all means, I'm happy to do that. And I think that serving on school board would just allow us to work together to make so many of the families reach their incredible and self-selected potential.
Repeat. What skills, experience, and strengths would you bring to the board?
So my current job is an English-Spanish translator for schools. I work with IEPs, ERs, and our reorganization reports all the time. And I think I have a different perspective after reading hundreds of files of the gap there is in communication. There is a lot of resources in the school districts. There's a lot of parents that need them and kids, but the link between those things, the groups, could always be improved a little bit. And I've also, in this sense of language, helped even parents when I was in the PTO or just when my kids were in elementary school to translate. So I've seen that. I am bilingual. I can help with this. Also, I am finishing my master's degree this December, and I have been doing research for 2 years. I have also been learning a lot about policy formulation, policy analysis. I've also, as part of my studies, have been working together constantly with people from different countries. And I feel this also has opened my mind to how the dynamics work, because we all have something to bring always. I think it is very important also to be a person of integrity, compromise, to know that this is a serious thing. And I believe that my words in English are coming soon. I think it is important to be adaptable and move with change, creativity, and chaos is just an opportunity to create new things.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. Who's hardest to go first? And to that end, next up, it's just going to be one person because one of our other people withdrew. So, Mr. Carlos Cormiel, welcome.
Good evening. And you did say that right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was wondering. I was hoping.
Yeah.
Great job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Job.
So whenever you're ready. So again, welcome. Thank you for coming. My question is, what interests you when serving on our school board?
Sure. So first of all, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Carlos Cornel. I am a licensed social worker in the state of Pennsylvania. In addition to that, I hold my certification as a drug and alcohol counselor, also in the state of Pennsylvania and the state of Delaware. What really motivates me to be here tonight is my commitment with community, engaging the communities. Also, being here is an opportunity to represent my culture as a Dominican Puerto Rican. I was born in the Dominican Republic. I grew up in Puerto Rico and lived there since age 24. When I moved to the state of Delaware, I had the opportunity to get the support from people like you, from educators, and that is the reason why I'm here and having this conversation with you guys, because otherwise you would have not understand a word of what I was saying back then. Another thing that I would like to mention in regards to my interest in the board position is, I think it can be summarized with the word connection. I would like to be that representation for those family members that cannot have a voice at the board, at the table. And while you guys are doing an excellent job, I think that my experience as a social worker, currently working for a medical health institution, like general health and medicine, and my experience working with grants, federal grants, state and federal, could be an opportunity for me not only to support you guys, to connect with those community members, but also also have a voice, also have an opportunity to talk and connect with someone that perhaps does not have an educational background. So I appreciate the opportunity.
And what skills, experience, and strengths would you bring to the board?
Well, thank you. So as I mentioned, I am a licensed social worker. While I do not have the educational background that others might have, I have the opportunity to serve in multiple committees, other boards that I have served in the past. Currently, I am an active member of the Pennsylvania Department of Health HIV Council, which is the council that perhaps governs the funding and how those funds are going to be allocated throughout the state. Sorry, there we go, that's better. How those funds are going to be allocated throughout the state. So my work does not only brings services and opportunities for the people to connect with care, but also allows me to, at the state level, have a voice on how to distribute those funds. In addition to that, another skill that I think that I would like to bring to the table has to do, again, with community engagement. I have had years of experience connecting other folks that are perhaps not willing to connect with care in different ways. And I can speak for Spanish population, for example, in where those folks are a little hesitant to receive care from hospital institutions. So, let's face it, you don't go to the doctor until you're dying. So my job primarily is to break those barriers that are getting in the way of between the care that folks need, and some of those barriers have to do with financial, and that's what I do. I write my grants and I bring dollars to our communities in hopes that would enhance the health and the opportunities for the folks that I serve.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the opportunity. My daughter will be very happy and very excited that she saw Papa.
Thank you. So next up is Mr. James Bohan and Dr. Jill Costin. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bohan, we'll refer to you first. What interests you about serving on the school board?
Well, first of all, it's Bowen, and doctor is more appropriate, I suppose. I have a doctorate in education. In any case.
I apologize.
No, that's no problem. I guess the easiest way to sum it up is I've been a lifer in education. I started teaching in 1968. To be very honest with you, I did it to avoid going to Vietnam. When President Nixon stopped the draft in 1973, the school I was teaching at lost a third of its faculty that day. They resigned and left. And I stayed the rest of my life. I have multiple degrees. I've always loved going to school. And the one thing, I was a math educator my entire life, is that I was really dedicated to the idea of using mathematics to foster the growth of all students, no matter how talented they were, and particularly dealing with the aspect of their own attitude towards themselves and mathematics, because it's one of the ones that can get very beat up. I have served this community in lots of different ways. As an appointed member of the park board from the school district, that was appointed in 1990, and served on the park board multiple terms, again with the endorsement of the school board, until it was disbanded last year. I had 33 years in that, many of which I was the chairman. One of the things that I just felt when I saw this opportunity come up is I have an enormous amount of experience. I've taught in parochial, private, public, charter, and also consulted privately in all sorts of aspects. I have extensive dealings with PDE and professional organizations. And the one major thing that I really believe is that people need to understand that when you're a member of the school board, you don't control all the things they'd like you to. That's a very specific set of things that a school board member attends to. And the comments about partnering with the schools being that sort of a resource just seems to me my next step in my dedication to K-12 education.
Thank you. Dr. Costi.
Thank you for this opportunity. So for me, what really interests me is the aspect of community engagement. My son is a first grader at Brecht, and I'm volunteering there and really enjoying that work and appreciating seeing how the school fits into the sort of larger structure of the district. And I'm really interested in engaging with the school board to not only help be transparent to our community, but also help myself more fully understand the structure of the school district and policymaking as well. I was really struck by Mr. Bolzar's comment about PTO members not knowing what the school board does and thinking about what is it that makes it feel so opaque and what can I do to help contribute to transparency there. I am an adjunct professor of English at Elizabethtown College, and I teach composition and I teach young adult literature. So I'm always thinking about adolescence, and I'm always thinking about how do we translate things that seem unclear to others into more understandable language and connection. And so when I think about my interest in the school board, I'm really coming at it from that perspective of how do we more fully help the community understand what we do, what the role is, and how we more fully connect with the community to make that clearer. And I am also a huge advocate for learning and transparency in learning and in supporting teachers and staff and students, and for access to books and libraries and the right for students to read texts that represent a whole range of viewpoints, and allow them those mirrors and windows and sliding glass doors that are so important. So those are the things that I think really drive my interest, and I appreciate the opportunity. Dr. Bell?
What skills, experience, and strengths would you bring to the board?
Well, I think one skill or quality perhaps is sensitivity. We were blessed with 4 kids, all of whom graduated from Manheim Township. One, it's worth pointing out, he's a master mechanic at Chapman Ford. Another one is a PA. I have a mechanical engineer who she says she takes after me. I don't know if that's true or not. And then we have one who's gifted in languages. And it really, as I worked my way through here, I started here in '86, tailoring programming to maximize the potential of each individual student became almost a necessity in my case. For example, when I started in '86, there was only 6 kids taking advanced placement mathematics in the high school. When I left in 2005 to go to the IU, we had approximately 250 taking either calculus, statistics, or computer science at the advanced placement level. And that was much, I think, I was blessed with the ability to form connections with the teachers in all of the buildings, all the way through K through 12, particularly in the middle school and high school, to have them participate in the development of programs that really work very, very well. And I put some comments about my leadership style available for you. I think much of it is a matter of experience. I know when the park board disbanded, one of my regrets and disappointments was the fact that You know, once you get enough white hair, you know an awful lot of stuff that most people don't want to talk to you about. You know, and it's kind of unfortunate. So I think one of my greatest strengths is, first of all, caring for individuals as much as I do, plus being willing to share and do whatever is necessary to improve, you know, the future of the kids. It's all about the kids.
And for me, skills, experiences, and strengths. As an academic studying children's literature and young adult literature, I mentioned that I'm always thinking about adolescence, and always thinking about childhood and adolescence and the spaces of those time periods, and what does our education do for the students during that time period. And I'm always thinking about ways to create and encourage civic mindedness. Ideally, helping humans grow into people who are engaged with their communities and thinking about the structures that shape their lives and what their roles are in them. And I think that I'm quite good at conveying that kind of information to people who might be interested in hearing about it. And again, I'm always thinking about that myself. So I bring that kind of thoughtful engagement with why we do what we do for and who we do it for. I've also served on several committees through the Children's Literature Association. I was the co-chair of the membership committee, and I served on the Phoenix Book Award panel and on the communications committee. And in all of those spaces, I learned how to navigate what we do on a committee inside of a larger organization. And again, how that helps me understand an organization and helps me then translate that for others who want to know what we're doing and why we do it. And I'm also a very enthusiastic member of a team. I really appreciated Sororia's point about being a cheerleader, and I want to echo that too, that it's really a pleasure to see other people succeed and to essentially cheer them on in that. And so I think those are things that I bring along with kind of a level-headed perspective and collaborative nature. I really want to hear what others have to say, and I'm pretty good, I think, at taking multiple viewpoints and kind of getting to what the core of a conversation might be. Thank you.
Thank you both very much.
Okay, next up is Mr. Brian Schnell and Miss Jessica Collard. Welcome. All set? Okay. Mr. Schnell, I'll start with you. What interests you about joining the Manheim Township School Board?
Great. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity for me to be able to be here tonight. There's a multitude of reasons why it interests me to be here. The one that I feel like is most prevalent right now, I'm going through a transitioning period as far as my career goes. I'm getting ready to retire out of the military. So I've spent the last just about 25 years of my life as a part of a team, serving the country, and also being a part of the National Guard, serving the community as well. I'm not here to talk about that, though. The reason why I'm here is because I was inspired by my spouse. Jokingly, I'm a first husband. My wife, Danielle Schnell, is the president of the New Trower PTO. Over the last 3 years, she's moved up from the secretary to the vice president, now the president. She's done wonderful things for that school. She, to the point where it's no secret that some of the elementaries, and New Trower being one of them, need some work, right? So she and two of her other colleagues on the PTO, along with help from staff and other administrators there, got the attention of Dr. Patty Hefty, and that was, I think, your first task, or one of them, I believe. She remembers that. So But seeing that inspired me because I could not wait to get out of the military to be the guy that does the thing, right? Just be that guy. But it inspired me to continue to look at something else, to be a member and serve. And I believe that this is it for me, to be able to designate my time and my efforts to the well-being and welfare of the student body here in Manheim Township. I have 2 daughters. One is still at Nishrower and the other one is at Landisfarne. So whatever I can do to be a part of that is what my inspiration is to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Ms. Collier, what interests you about joining the Manheim Township School Board?
It's Kaler with a long A.
No.
I know, it looks
Thank
like
you very
Colin.
much.
Sure. Thanks for letting me be here tonight. I've always been very passionate about public education. I've worked in public education for almost 25 years. I taught elementary school in Lower Merion School District for 10 years before moving to Lancaster with my husband, who's from the area. And we've lived here for almost 12 years, and in that time, I've loved being part of the community and serving our community by volunteering in the district and even working in the district. I was a substitute teacher for a short time during COVID when we had a need for substitutes. And I have not been working in the public education classroom for a while. I've been working and continue to work at Millersville University. I work in the Department of Education. Currently, I work in the Department of Special Education, and I supervise student teachers in their field placements throughout Lancaster County, including I have someone at Schaefer and Brecht right now, and it's a delight to be there. My daughters both went to Schaefer, they're now in the high school. So I've always worked adjacent to or directly with public education. Serving on the SLAC committee with Dr. Felty for 6 years gave me a great opportunity to see what it was like to partner with schools at the PTOs, listen to what the families were asking, and then bring it directly to the superintendent. I really relished that opportunity and would love to do something like that, also serving our community as a member of the school board.
Thank you. What skills, experience, and strengths would you bring to the board? Back to you, Mr. Schmidt.
So a lot of my skills that I feel like I could bring to the board would probably deal within the last 15 years of my service. I do serve full time. I've been in part of the recruiting command for the Pennsylvania Army National Guard for the last about 15 years. I did take a 3-year hiatus where I worked over a schoolhouse up at Fort Indian Town Gap. But during that time of the last 15 years, I feel as though I have some pretty good communication skills. I have a lot of experience with public speaking, and the biggest thing that I feel that I could bring is the problem-solving aspect of things. As a recruiter, my job was not just to get people to join the National Guard, but it was to dig down, talk to them, get to know them, and figure out what motivated them and why they wanted to do it. That being said, I took that job to heart, and I was dedicated to giving them the best possible solution that the National Guard had to offer. That may not have always been the best solution for them, and that was okay. There's a service out there for everybody. I was told that. However, I did dedicate myself to communicating with that individual what their options were. On top of that, the leadership piece of it, the last 10 years or so, I have been in a senior leadership position, and I have, as I said, had a brief stint over at our schoolhouse, which there I was the Assistant Director of Leadership Development and Training Operations. So not that I have public school knowledge, but I do have the knowledge of making those decisions, overseeing a program or two, and as I put in my statements to the board during COVID, we had had to very hastily create a virtual program to keep our leadership academy running, and we did that within a 90-day time frame, all consulting all members of my team to the lowest instructor, to the lowest level of instructing, and then to the highest level across the nation, collaborating and creating a successful program. So.
And what skills, experience, and strengths would you bring to the board, Mrs. Campbell?
So I think a lot of people here have already said they have expertise in education and experience in that. And I think it would be wonderful if the board picked someone with that experience. But beyond that, we're not here just to work as educators or those who work with education, but to represent our community and to advocate and to build bridges. And I've done a lot in terms of advocacy for particularly LGBTQIA individuals, children. I was a Girl Scout leader for 10 years and loved it, and unfortunately dissolved my troop with the full support of every girl, all teen girls who go here in the township, when we learned that our current council does not have affirming, welcoming policies for all kids. I care very much about vulnerable kids. That's why working in special education means a lot to me. And I think that's important for all. But I also think being a bridge builder is important too. And that came to light to me today. My neighbor, Danny Martin, he wrote me a letter tonight. He didn't know if I could bring a letter. And I said, I don't know that I can, but I read it and it meant a lot to me, and I'll just read a part of it. He says, it might also be relevant to point out that he, Danny, have served on the Manheim Township Republican Committee for the last 4 years. And while I know Jessica has very different political leanings from mine and may well disagree with me on some key issues, I have no reservations whatsoever about supporting her. She's always willing to listen to others' viewpoints, and she's skilled at articulating her own. I view her as a true bridge builder and someone who embodies the spirit of community united based upon common ground, rather than one that emphasizes differences. Anyway, that meant a lot to me, and I think I hope that would be something that whoever you choose would bring to the school board.
Thank you both.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Ms. Monique Acosta and Ms. Jessica Scott. Welcome. So first, Ms. Acosta, what interests you about serving on the school board?
It's Monica. I know, it's just the way it's spelled is just gonna throw you.
I said Ms. Zimmerman. I said Monica. Monica. Yes.
Long O.
Thank you. I apologize.
No worries. Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing us all to be here this evening. So yeah, what interests me in serving on any board or any committee that I've been on is that's just who I am. I am a person who has a sort of servant leadership heart, if you're familiar with the term. I've been involved in lots of committees and lots of areas in my time with the school district. I have 3 kids that 2 have already graduated in 18 and 21. And I have a senior currently at Manheim Township High School. And over the years, as many of the candidates here have shared, I have been a part of different PTOs and various committees here and there. And it's just part of who I am. I mean, it's serving in the community, in the interests that I have, it's just what I do. And I feel like I bring a lot of experience with that. So if there is a call and I have the time and I have the passion, and I'm being mindful of doing good self-care, I will answer the call.
Thank you. that. Okay, thank you. Ms. Scott, you're up next.
Thank you everyone for this opportunity. I guess I'll take a line from what someone said earlier. As you all probably saw in my answer, I'm a Mandan Township lifer. Grew up right here in this neighborhood in Bel Air over on Nottingham. Walked to this very school every morning. I went to the old middle school. I remember how it was held together. And I remember going to the unair-conditioned 9-10 side and a little bit nicer 11-12 side. So currently I did have kids at Nitrower, and now I have an 11-year-old at Landis Run and an 8th grader at the middle school who's currently home praying for a fit day tomorrow. I'm engaged with their education. They both play sports for the school district, and I'm also involved with the community itself through my work with Moms Demand Action Lancaster. I am one of 4 founding members who started the group here locally after Uvalde. I'm interested in serving on this board I just want to build relationships and foster an inclusive environment for students to thrive. I thrived here, growing up here in Mandan Township, and I want to be able to provide that in serving on this board for all children in the community.
Thank you. Ms. Acosta, what skills, experience, and strengths would you bring to the board?
I would say, as one of our candidates mentioned, empathy is a really big skill that I bring. You can learn to have empathy, and as I mentioned in my responses, that is definitely not a soft skill. It takes hard work, to be an empathetic person, and a little more specific to the role and responsibilities of a board. I have been on many boards and currently the board chair of the WellSpan Eastern Asian Board, and my chair, I will finish chairing at the end of this year, but will continue on the board. It won't let me go yet. And just for the school district as well, different committees, but also for Manhattan Township itself, serving on different committees for the township. I was on the Police Advisory Committee and then on the Comprehensive Plan Committee as well for some time. And so I understand the operations of a board. I understand the procedures. I understand making difficult decisions. And I also understand that that's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable sometimes because this is a serious business, and especially for a school district. I take that very seriously, and I believe that it's a calling for me. So I would say that one of the most rewarding things for me is to be able to serve, and so I'm just appreciative for the opportunity.
Thank you. Mrs. Scott.
Well, I would say in terms of my strengths, my biggest strength is being born and raised here in Manhattan Township. Outside of college, where I was down in Maryland, I've lived in this community my whole life. I knew that when my husband and I were looking to buy our first home, there was only one choice, Manhattan Township. Our education, as I said in my statements, is second to none. So I just feel that one of my strengths is understanding that the need to not only give that to my own children, but to provide all children that same safe space and community that this school district has been providing to me since I was walking to this very school. In terms of my work with Moms Demand Action, I am currently, as I said, I'm one of 4 founders. I'm currently the membership leader as well. We call it team lead. currently the membership lead and the elections lead, and in the past year have stepped up to, while our group leader or team leader was out on maternity leave, I stepped up into her role as well. She just came back here in September. And with Moms City in Action, it's really furthered my skills in communication, grassroots organizing, and leading and working as part of a team to accomplish a common goal. Understand how to build relationships with the community and foster buy-in. And I've worked as part of a team to identify community needs around gun safety and bring education to the community as well. In my day job, I am a loan review officer in our loan review department at Fulton Bank. So that's, I know, very different than a lot of everyone's experience in education. But it does bring an experience of reviewing financial documents, reviewing policy. I'm detail-oriented, thorough, I love a good spreadsheet. And I understand risk management. I understand how to identify risk and so that we can avoid taking them here. I would say my communication style is I'm empathetic, I'm collaborative, communicative, organized, and definitely mission-driven. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you. Next up, we have Dr. Timothy Williams and Mr. Adams. Welcome. Start with you, Dr. Williams. What interests you about serving on the school board?
Well, I've spent my entire life in public education, 36 years as a classroom teacher, all the way up through superintendent. I'm now a retired superintendent. And actually, I spent 36 and a half years, because while in college, I washed and waxed school buses for a school district. So that's 36 and a half years. And then I spent 2 years in working in Vermont as interim superintendent for some unique experiences that weren't available here. And if you want to talk about those anytime, I'd be happy to talk about those, because those are great experiences as well. But I've been a lifelong educator, obviously, and really enjoyed my time in all of those positions. And interestingly enough, the mission statement that the district still has, which pleases me to no end, was developed about 10 years ago when I chaired the Comprehensive Planning Committee. And we're talking about it. The prior mission statement was long and flowery and no one could remember it. I mean, it was really interesting statement, but nobody could remember it. It was way too long. So we were trying to shorten it, and we're talking about nurturing kids and challenging them and making lifelong learners and all this, and conversations going on, and I just asked everybody to stop. I wrote on the board, nurture and challenge for success. Conversation ended right there, because everybody loved that statement, because that is the essence of what we've always done here, and will continue to do. So it tickles me to no end that that's still the mission statement of the district 10 years on. So I had a lot of experiences working with school boards, obviously, and enjoyed all of that, especially the give and take that sometimes anybody, Dr. P. Hefty probably remembers going through COVID, which was a very tough time, and the board I was working with at York Suburban at the time was, interestingly enough, very similar district to Manham Township, and we had very conservative people on the board, very liberal people on the board, and everything in between. And we managed to get going in the same direction. So that was a wonderful experience for me, and that's why I like working with the board.
Thank you. Mr. Hosey, what interests you about serving on school board?
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. I've done this 3 times now, and I gotta say the cast of candidates here are absolutely phenomenal. This is kind of the mission statement. So it's just really great to see this district grow, and I think that's a tribute to your leadership as well, everyone here, new and old. Many years ago, I read a statement, it was from Bell Hooks. She said that education is a place where freedom can be achieved. And as a young man, I always thought and grappled with the idea of freedom living in this country, and always, felt like something clicked in my head that the school was the place where folks can have that abundance of choice, where they are able to see all the things that they want. And to do that, we need good policies, good folks, good people, good communities. And running through my resume, I realized that I've worked in almost every part of a school district except for driving buses and the nurse's office. So I've never done those things, but I have lined fields, I have cut grass, I have written the English and history curriculum for the #1 high school in Pennsylvania in downtown STEM. So all along those ways and all those roles that I have served, it has always been a policy that has been interesting to me. So I eventually did leave the classroom because I did want to focus more on policy, and that is what I have done in my professional life and my volunteer life, and even as we continue to have this really strong board, I've always been looking for ways to serve the community, as my own kids are at Schaefer in 1st and 3rd grade, serving on stage, serving on the North Star Committee, coaching baseball, all those things. Thank you.
Dr. Williams, what skills, experience, and strengths would you bring to the board?
I touched a little bit on that a few minutes ago, and being able to work with people with varying viewpoints to get to a common direction. That's the essence of what a board really needs to do. Because let's face it, 9 people and working as a team of 10, and that's really, really important, working as a team of 10, because some boards don't function that way, and they really do need to function that way for the benefit of everyone. So the best way I can sum up my skills for this type of work is being able to work closely with colleagues on the board and the superintendent. And you don't have to worry. I have no interest in running the district. I've done enough of that. I would like to provide governance and oversight.
Thank you. Mr. Hosey?
Yeah, thank you. In my professional experience, I mentioned that I was a teacher in many different roles in many different types of schools. As I left to work on policy and systemic change, I chose racism to really focus on. And that is not easy to do. So I helped found the Center for Racial and Gender Equity at the YWCA Lancaster here. We developed a number of curricular programs to help not just people understand and address racism, but to be able to talk to each other and have dialogue with each other and seek to listen to understand each other rather than just to respond to each other. So I've worked with other school districts in providing some of those equity trainings and leadership roles and helping those districts really bridge those gaps and have those conversations across all communication channels, across all levels of the district. Eventually thought maybe that was a little too easy, so I moved on to Planned Parenthood, and that is where I currently work. And once again, I'm seeking common ground with folks. I think we all understand that we need healthier communities, that public health is an essential good for thriving communities. And I think my biggest skill is the ability to bridge some of those gaps and to bring people together and have really difficult and necessary conversations. And at the same time, knowing that the times I need to step up and also the times I need to step back and let other people shine. I love being people's hype people. I've been many people's hype people in this room. It has been such a pleasure to see folks achieve. And that is something that I value greatly, the ability to both lift and climb in this community, because we know that when we rely on each other and when we make each other better, it's going to help everyone. Thank you.
Thank you both very much.
Now, I said when we started, it wasn't easy to go first. I also think it's probably not very easy to be the last two. So with that, I'll welcome Dr. Shannon Dietz and Mr. Ramon Rivera up front.
I would say I like to go first when I present, so this is a challenge in the other way.
Well, I appreciate your sticking with it. And we're going to start with you, Dr. Dietz. What interests you about serving on the school board?
So while I guess I can be a little different here, I know we have a lot of people that have been part of this district for a very long time. I guess you could call me a newbie. I have a daughter, she's in first grade at Nitrower. And I'm also an educator. I've been an educator for 12 years. Some in private, some in public. And I'm a huge education nerd. And recently I've been getting into policy a lot, and I think being part of the school board just interests me in terms of advocacy. While I have not had a lot of time within the district, I have a lot of time to go in the district, so I think any contribution that I can make to the board, I know it's going to impact my daughter's next 11 years of her life in education. And I think it just excites me to be able to work with people that are so diverse in what they bring. I just love education itself, and I love public education. I've always been a proponent of that. And so I think being able to get involved and to work with other people would be something that I would really enjoy.
Thank you. And Mr. Rivera, what interests you about serving on the school board?
So I apologize, I'm losing my voice, which is an added challenge today. But so I have deep roots in the district. All 5 of my children graduated from Manhattan Township, and I mean, talk about an education nerd. I too share that. In that 12 years ago, my wife and I started coming to school board meetings. We saw this almost as a date night. And we saw the power to affect change that we can have from the 5 minutes we'd have at the microphone. And over the last 12 years, I've done a lot of things with the school board to help affect change. One of my biggest, proudest moments was we managed to gather a group of community members to save the Spanish immersion program. At a time when the district was probably going to make a huge mistake and get rid of that program, we got people together and saved that program, and I saw firsthand the impact that a school board has on our community. And then beyond that, I helped to, again, along with other community members, by no means did I do this by myself, but to help reintroduce art and music back into the elementary schools at a time when those things had been taken away. We helped with, we were huge in helping to get the middle school built. I even took board members to my school and gave them tours of the facilities and offerings at my school to show what we could have here in Township at a time when our science labs were sinking into the ground, literally. So I've been, coming to school board has been a big part of my life. Again, recently I haven't been able to come because I'm on another board that meets at the same time, but I feel that I've seen the power I can have behind the microscope of citizens' comments. I was at the first Saturday conversations that we ever had, and I saw the power that those conversations had, so I would like to be part of the table and part of the decision-making process of the district.
Dr. Dietz, what skills, experience, and strengths would you bring to the board?
So I do have my doctorate in ed leadership, and my focus, since I defended my dissertation, has been on teacher preparation and making sure that teachers feel seen and heard and prepared to enter the classroom. One thing that I've been doing recently is working with the Teach Plus program within the state of Pennsylvania, which focuses on working with legislators on specific ideas. And so my cohort's focus right now has been expanding and diversifying the teacher pipeline. So how are we going to be creating better spaces for our teachers to come in, especially our teachers of color? So I think working as a teacher, I definitely see working on a school board from a different light, because I am within the schools. I think part of being able to be part of a board is to be able to give voices to not only the community members, but the staff are going to be directly impacted by the policies that are put in place. And so one thing that I've been able to do, I'm a math teacher, so woo, go math. And I'm also currently our school's Foundations of Teaching teacher at Ephrata. Is I've been able to bring board members within our building to work with students. And it's been really great for them to see all the board members do to help support them. And I think being transparent within the district has been really helpful as well. So I've seen the benefits that a great relationship, a transparent relationship can be between a school district and its board. And I think I want to be able to provide a voice not only for the students, but for the staff at the schools. And I've seen how much that truly benefits a working relationship between board and staff. So I think that would be something that I'd love to bring to this board as well. I've also worked on multiple different boards itself. So I'm working with the Pennsylvania National Educator Association, or sorry, the National Association for Multicultural Education. Working with them, I helped to start our school's diversity club on campus. So being able to advocate for students and bring voice for them is important. And I want to be able to bring that type of advocacy for not only just students, but for staff as well.
And to you, Mr. Rubin.
So I would say nurturing and challenging students for success has really been my life calling. So I've been a teacher for the last 32 years. I'm currently still a teacher. I teach life science in a neighboring district. And so that's been my life's work. And I strongly feel that every school board should have an active teacher on the board to show how, what happens here in the boardroom has direct impact in the classroom. And only a teacher who's in the trenches can kind of get a gist of what's going on there. But like I said, I've been teaching for 32 years. I've had a lot of leadership roles in that. I've been team leader. I've been on the Principals Advisory Council. I was on the induction team for over 2 decades at my school, helping new teachers acclimate to a new district. So I really feel that my experience as a teacher really sets me apart, and the fact that I'm currently still a teacher as well. In addition to that, I am Puerto Rican and I am bilingual. And one of the strengths of our district is the diversity of our district. And I would love to be an example to others like me in the district, an underrepresented parts of the community that, show what's a successful person can look like and be part of the conversation as how we can move the district forward. I have a lot of I have experience also serving on boards. I'm currently on the Touchstone Foundation board, which promotes youth mental health, which again is something that working with students one-on-one, that is something that needs addressed in our schools. And so I look forward to being part of the board and part of the decision-making process.
Thank you both very much.
All right, everybody. We did it. That was incredible. I'll just echo what a roster of candidates. I really just do appreciate that. We got to work cut out for us. And so to our candidates, so we're moving on to 4A in our agenda now, which is going to bring us to adjournment. First off, I don't want to get too far ahead of it. Is there a motion to adjourn? Mr. Bolzar, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Woodbury, thank you. To our candidates, thank you again for your willingness to serve on the school board and for your responses to our questions. Please plan on attending the special board meeting on December 4th at 6 p.m. as we will be voting for a new board member. As a reminder, because this process has been entirely transparent and before the public, candidates should not privately contact members of the board prior to the special board meeting.
Instead, if you have any questions, please direct them to our school board secretary sitting next to Mr. Baltazar. Her name is Colleen Marshall. Her email address is boardsecretary@mtwp.net. And also as a reminder to our sitting board members, now that this interview process is completed, you have time to reflect on everything that you have heard this evening from our candidates. Please come to the meeting on Thursday prepared with your top candidate. As a reminder, because this process has been entirely transparent and before the public, members of the board should not privately contact candidates prior to the voting meeting. Instead, likewise, if we have questions, we should send them to Colleen. Now this concludes this evening's interviews, and thank you, and good night.